Hello, everyone. When I see what happens nowadays with in social media, seeing all this, especially when you go to Instagram, you see all the people taking selfies, how a lot of um, a lot of so-called Instagram stars are people that they don't really have much to offer, but just the fact that they probably have the nice cars, they probably have the nice clothing, they're probably good looking, and they just take pictures of themselves all over the place and things like that. And there is a it just concerns me that there is some kind of like a glorification nowadays of figures or things that are pretty much empty, that they don't really have much to offer. And when you glorify things that have nothing to help you grow, what happens is that you're pretty much losing your identity. You're losing yourself. One of the best examples is, for example, of this is also when I see people talking about politics. People, they give themselves completely and unconditionally to political parties, even though they don't, and they're so loyal to them. They have the kind of loyalty that they don't even give that to, sometimes not even to their own sons, daughters, the wife, their family. And what happens is when you give yourself to something so unconditionally and not really knowing if that, pretty much accepting that whether it's a political party or whether it's a person or whether it's, whatever it is that you really that you want to follow, and you follow to the point that you become kind of like a hardcore fan, what you're doing is you're losing, not only you're losing your authenticity, you're losing the your identity, and you're losing the ability to say, okay, I am I'm not gonna sell myself cheap. I'm gonna wait and see how this person does, whatever. Sorry guys, that was my dog moving the table. Whatever it is that you're following, I gotta keep track of that and see how it does. Why? Because if they do something that goes against my beliefs, that goes against my values, I'm not gonna like that. I'm not gonna let it go. I don't want to be. You don't want to be the kind of person that looks away when political parties, or when an athlete that you like, or when just some famous personality that you follow. They're humans, so they're gonna do things that it's impossible that everything they do is gonna be good according to your standards. And that's what you lose when you unconditionally follow them. This all leads to becoming okay, what you see, every person that has become successful. Let's talk about Michael Jordan. He was not a he To become Michael Jordan, he couldn't be the kind of guy that says, okay, you know what, I'm just gonna be the regular thinker. I'm just gonna be one more person on the ship that is gonna follow something and is gonna be unconditionally given to that person, or to that brand, or whatever it is. He had to think outside the box. People that created Ferrari had to think outside the box. People that created Michael Kors had to think outside the box. So this is we're talking about people that they didn't lose their personality. They believed that they could be more than just, okay, a follower. When you become a follower to the point that you lose the most important part of you, that is your identity, that is your personality. No, you're the only person that creates that. Nobody else does. You can shape it according to the social conditioning that happens to you, but in the end, you're the one person that has the last word on how you want to behave and what you want to believe, and your values. And when that happens, the only thing that you're doing is that you're pretty much losing yourself. You pretty much letting go of the most important part of being you. Again, it's which is your identity, which is your personality, which is the one thing that can separate you from everybody else. Now, not being like that, not just becoming part of the sheep and following, okay, I'm just gonna follow this party or I'm gonna follow this guy blindly. I'm not saying that you shouldn't follow anybody. I'm just saying blindly. You have to have the capacity to say, I am going to value, I am going to grade, I'm going to test what these people or what this person or whatever it is that you're following, what they do, and you gotta see if it matches what you believe, what you follow. But a lot of people, they completely lose themselves in following something or someone to the point that their values and their beliefs and their perceptions are inexistent. So you have to follow someone, but you always want to be the kind of person that can question the things that they're doing. You always got to have that kind of analytical eye. That's what I call an independent thinker. And I wanted to give you 4 tips or four things that form the independent thinker mind. Okay, and the first one is they're curious people. That is like the cat that you're probably playing with something in your hand, and the cat is kind of following and gets the attention, and that's what you wanna be. That's what you wanna do. Even when it's someone that you're not really interested in is doing something, you can be curious and say, okay, I want to see how that turns out. That might be something that might be something that will teach me something that I don't know right now. And curiosity I would say curiosity is the beginning of gaining a lot of knowledge. So you want to be curious. You don't want to be just because because you're seeing someone that doesn't belong to the circle of idols that you have, doesn't mean that you shouldn't pay attention to what they do, because whether we like it or not, we can learn from people. We can learn something even from people that we don't like. So you gotta have that open mind too. You wanna keep that open mind that is gonna help you see so much more than what you will see if you only have your glasses that block everything else, but you're only gonna follow what the people that you like are doing. So you got to be curious, because you never know when you're gonna learn, when you're gonna find out something that is gonna be of value for you. The second thing is very much alike curiosity. You want to be observant. You gotta have that I would say that skill, that when you're observant, you're paying attention to how people behave, to how people talk, to the things that they're doing, how are they doing it, and I think that when you're observant, it just becomes like second nature. Or after the curiosity can come from someone, or you're pinpointing things that get your attention. When you're observant, you can be just pretty much like you already got that skill of kind of scanning the things around you, and while you're scanning, you're observing what people do, and you immediately gonna sometimes you're gonna pay attention to something that doesn't really get your attention, but you just kind of have that feeling like, okay, I just want to see what these people are doing. It's something that is being observant. It's something that is going to help you. Curiosity can be something that comes out from, okay, I'm just curious, that looks interesting, and see what happens. Being observant, it can be from something that doesn't really look that interesting, but it helps you remember. You kind of paying more attention and more focus on remembering the things that they're doing. What's the process how was the process of what they were doing, or what happened step by step, or phases. So it's also it's pretty much paying attention on the things that don't really get your attention, but you still focusing on that, because again, just same as curiosity, you're thinking, okay, I can get something out of this. Or even in the moment, you might not be thinking I can get out of this. You just kind of just want to turn out and see what happens, what's the output of what they're doing. The third one is that you have you have the capacity to mix the old and the new, all the new ideas, old and new innovation. You have when you become an independent thinker, you can say, okay, I understand, and I can tell that whatever they did, what these things that they did in the past, this was I like that, and I like that, and I didn't like this. You have the capacity to say, okay, there are a couple of things that I like the way they did it back then, and I can implement that on the way they do it today, which is a different way. But doing things in a modern way doesn't necessarily mean that you have to change the whole blueprint or the whole plan. You can still have implement ideas from the things that the way they were done in the past. You gotta have that capacity to bend your mentality, your acceptance, and say just because I'm living in the 21st century doesn't mean that I'm gonna close my eyes and I'm completely gonna close the door to the way this was done back in the 20th century or the 19th century, whatever. I mean, that's the reason why people read books, because from the past you can learn a lot of things from the past. Probably not technically nowadays when we're talking about many things like computers and how a lot of things are done technically, but the mentality and the way they will see it. I mean, it's historically, we can learn a lot from the people, from the books, from people that live in past centuries, and that's why it's so important, and that's why you always hear, you know what, it's important that you read. Why? Because the books that people wrote in the past are nothing but they're pretty much putting their experience in a bunch of pages and then giving that to you, so you don't have to go through the same thing that they went through. You can learn from that, and when you learn from that, you're gonna transfer all that knowledge to today. And even though things might not be done the same way, but still just their mentality is gonna help you. Probably this is people that are gonna teach you to be more calm mentally, or have more courage, or have more determination, or be more perseverant, or believe in yourself. And that's something that is gonna help. That's something that helps someone in the 2nd century, in the 7th century, and it's gonna help you, believe me, in the 21st century. That's not gonna change. So, okay, and the last thing is, you want to be educated, cultivated. That's what we're pretty much what we're talking about the books. We don't have the excuse nowadays. We don't have the excuse to say I don't know. I cannot. I don't have access to the knowledge from the past. I don't have access to the knowledge from anyone that you need, from or athletes or businessmen or scientists or anyone, teachers. Everything you have it pretty much in the palm of your hand, on your phone, in your computer, in your tablet. So you really want to be, if independent thinkers are people that they like to see things. They have the curiosity to start watching something. At first, it might not, it might get their attention right away. It can be something that they really like, so they just keep watching it and see, okay, let's see what happens. After that, you become observant. You just because you know that you can get knowledge from so many different places and so many different things happening around. You just become observant of everything happening to you. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's got to be something that at very first sight is going to be like, oh, that looks like super interesting, and you're looking at that. No, just being observant. You just kind of looking your surroundings and saying, okay, well, I have nothing to do. I love to do that when I go to airports. You just go in the airport, and you see people walking by, and I always wonder, say, I wonder where this person is from, and you see people, you can tell, just people walking by, you can tell the different nationalities, you can tell the different it's just so many different personalities, people that are shy, more shy, or people, or you see the people with the crazy hair, you're more introverts and extroverts, and you see, I mean, all businessmen, and you see punks, and you see, I mean, all that kind of stuff. And that's what being curious and being observant and you know, is helping you. And being cultivated, it's something that kind of opens your mind. You read books, you watch videos, you watch seminars, you listen to audios that you know that are gonna help you. I mean, there is so much that you can get nowadays. We just don't have an excuse to be ignorant, and especially on the things that you like. If you like politics, you know, you can do you nowadays you have the power to read the biography of every person in the party that you like, where this person came from, you know, what is the party, where are these guys going today, are they helping any people in these states, you know, or I mean, it's just anything that we want to know. It's pretty much it's available to us to learn. So you really want to become an educated person. The more you know, the more you open your eyes, the more you see that there are things that we were doing before, and then you start kind of changing your mind and say, okay, well, what if is this thing that I've been doing for so long is can be done different way and be done better. And those are three things that I wanted to talk about. What happens, what are the gains of having an open mind, of being an independent thinker? Okay, the first one is you consistently question assumptions, perceptions, beliefs, and values. That's what we were just talking about. You're going to be consistently asking yourself, I have this belief about this, and I had that belief for more than 10 years. Does this still apply nowadays? You know, you question yourself, and you question the assumptions, you question your beliefs, you question the perception that you have of things. You know, your mind starts opening, and you start looking at things in a very different way. When you become an independent thinker, pretty much you're opening the doors to your full potential, to looking at things about yourself and say, God, I didn't know I can do that. I didn't know I could like this. I didn't know I could approach this person. I didn't know I could finish this project. It's just being an independent thinker. It's just, to me, the way I see it, and I'm talking for myself as a personal experience. It's just something that at first it was scary, but it blew my mind away, because I started looking at the world in such a different way after a while, after I kind of accepted it. The second thing that can help you is going to help you with high standards or regular human rules of behavior and respect towards others, including animals and habitat. You kind of self-establish that. You understand more other people. You put yourself more in the shoes of other people. You put yourself in the shoes of people that protect animals, that protect the habitat, that protect the country, that protect their families. So you put yourself in the mind. You put yourself in different minds. You put yourself in the mind of the guy that protects trees, and you can step out of your body and see, okay, this is how this person thinks, and that's why they saying that. And you already have your perspective, but you already, you know, when you have both sides of the, you know, of the story, it's much better for you to say, okay, I having both sides of the story, I kind of can find a place where I can say, okay, I think this is where I'm gonna place myself. And that happens with with different people from different countries, from different religions, male, female, doesn't matter, gender, transgender, whatever they call it nowadays, whatever you are, you know, it's just when it comes to ethics, when it comes to empathy, when it comes to loving other people, to compassion, it's different too. It just explodes. You just see different when you have the capacity to put yourself in other people's minds, in their shoes. It's just I mean, everything can change, but again, it's not easy. It really takes a lot of going against yourself. I have to warn you about it. A lot of the stuff that I'm talking about here is not easy. Why? Because you're fighting yourself, because you're fighting all the social conditioning, all the political conditioning, all the friends and the parents and the teachers and the magazines and the internet and TV, all the conditioning that has happened to you, and all the brainwashing that has happened to you throughout years and years and years. So this is not an easy thing to work with. Another thing that happens is that you understand yourself, where your mentality behind your behavior comes from. That's true. We all have doubts. We all have insecurities. We sometimes feel guilty of something. Sometimes we feel discouraged when we're trying to reach a goal. I mean, we all have all those kinds of emotions. When you become an independent thinker, becoming an independent thinker is pretty much, you gotta open your mind. One of the requisites to become an independent thinker, and I would say the one main requisite, is you gotta have an open mind. When you do that, you understand so much better why you behave the way you do. You kind of crack your brain open and say, okay, what happened here? And you go back to experiences, and you go back to people, and you go back to places that happened in the past, and they say this to me and it made me feel like that, and I understand now that, and this is now how I want to think. I'm not the same person. It's at the same time. It's not the same place. I have changed. I can do it. I believe now. I don't have the same belief that I have back then. So it's a lot more understanding of why you behave the way you do, what emotions are there, where they come from, what created it, and how to fix that. And the last one is you become an independent thinker. You are you. You behave the way you want to behave. Everything about you is just the way you want to do it. You behave the way you want to do it. You hang out with the people you want to hang out with. It's just you being your real self. It's so much more difficult for other people to come and brainwash you, because you're already you live in your own universe. And for you to accept beliefs and people to come into your universe, now you have standards that say, hey, I'm not gonna let you in that easy. You have to show me that you're gonna bring value to me. You have to show me that you're true, that you're authentic, and that what you're telling me, it is not a lie. So the standards that you imposed on other people to hang out with you and to believe things that you read and hear, they increase. You're not the same person. You're not the same person that were just running with society in the past. You have your own mentality, you have your own mind, you have your own universe, and now you are the ruler of your universe, and you are the one person that says, this I'll take it, this I'll take it, this I leave it, and this person is gotta go. Okay, all right guys, well, I'm sorry for making this a little longer than I wanted. I hope you like it. Give me a like, subscribe to my channel, and I hope to see you soon. Thank you.